He stood on my front porch, red-faced, veins bulging, screaming at me to hand over $1,200 right now because of something my cat did. My cat. A 7-pound tabby named Luna. And here's the thing. I didn't yell back. I didn't apologize. I didn't reach for my wallet. Because he had been warned, repeatedly. And what happened next? He brought that entirely on himself, one low, buzzing flyover at a time. If this story hit different, smash that like button. You know it deserves it. And tell me in the comments, have you ever pulled off a revenge plan this perfectly calculated? Or do you know someone who did? Subscribe for more stories like this one. Real people, real justice, genuinely unhinged family drama. And if you're watching this with someone who has a complicated family relationship, maybe just give them a quiet nod. They know. I'm a woman living alone. Just me and my cat Luna, in a modest house with an enclosed patio and a small back garden. It's nothing fancy. Some potted herbs, a couple of string lights, a little bistro table where I drink my morning coffee and decompress after long days. That patio is my sanctuary, my quiet corner of the world. And for a long time, it was peaceful. Then my neighbor discovered racing drones. Now, I want to be fair. In the beginning, I didn't hate it. I'd hear the buzzing occasionally on weekend afternoons, the high-pitched whir of a drone cutting laps in the open field behind our street. Fine. Annoying at times, sure, but people have hobbies. I get it. I wasn't about to become that neighbor. But then something shifted. It stopped being about the open field. It started being about my fence line. I first noticed it on a Tuesday evening. I was sitting outside with Luna when I heard that sharp, mechanical buzzing getting closer and closer, not from the field, but from the left, right along the wooden fence that separates my property from his. The drone skimmed maybe 2 feet above the top of the fence, angled directly over my patio, hovered for a moment almost as if it was looking around, and then zipped back. Luna's head snapped up immediately. Every single hair on her body stood on end. Her tail puffed to twice its normal size, and before I could even process what had just happened, she bolted under the patio table and crouched there, eyes wide and wild, shaking slightly. My chest tightened watching her. She's not an anxious cat. She's curious, playful, independent, the kind of cat who struts around like she owns the entire property. And whatever that drone did to her nervous system in those few seconds, it genuinely frightened her. Not in a funny YouTube cat video way. In a real, visceral, this is distressing way. I thought it was a one-time thing. I let it go. It was not a one-time thing. Over the following weeks, it became a pattern. Almost every other day, sometimes daily, I would hear that buzz approaching along the fence line. Sometimes it happened while I was inside and Luna was on the patio. I'd hear the drone, and then I'd hear the crash of the patio chair as she scrambled under it, or the frantic scrabbling of her claws on the pavers as she fled inside. She started sleeping differently, flinching at outdoor sounds she never flinched at before. The patio, her favorite spot, the place she'd sit for hours watching birds and butterflies, she began avoiding it on days she seemed to sense the drone was coming, like she'd developed a trauma response. And I am not being dramatic when I say that. I know it's a cat, but she's my cat, and watching an animal you love become anxious and fearful in a space that used to be safe for her, that does something to you. It makes your jaw tight. It makes your hands clench. So I went and talked to him. The first time, I kept it light, neighborly, explained that the drone was distressing my cat. Could he maybe keep it to the back field? He barely looked up from his phone. I'm not touching anything on your property, he said. I'm flying in the air. And he gave me this small, dismissive smile, the kind that tells you the conversation is already over in his mind. I walked back inside with my face burning. The second time, I was firmer. I told him directly. The drone was entering my patio space. It was terrifying my cat, and I needed him to stop. He crossed his arms and said, and I quote, "You don't own the air." You don't own the air. I stood there for a moment, genuinely taken aback by the confidence of that sentence, like he'd rehearsed it, like he was proud of it. I told him clearly, if you keep flying that thing low into my yard and provoking her, it's going to get wrecked. I wasn't threatening him. I was telling him the truth. Luna is fast, she is agile, and she does not appreciate things invading her space. He shrugged and walked away. So, we had arrived at an understanding. Or rather, he had decided there was nothing to understand, and I had decided I was done asking nicely. I won't pretend I wasn't fantasizing, just a little, about what Luna might do if given the opportunity. I'm only human. When you feel powerless and dismissed and unheard in your own home, the brain starts daydreaming about justice. I just didn't expect it to arrive so literally. It was a regular afternoon, back door open to let the breeze through. I was inside folding laundry, half watching something on TV when I heard it. That familiar mechanical whine, getting closer, getting lower. My stomach tensed automatically. And then, thwack. A crash, a splintering sound, and then frantic shouting from outside. I dropped the laundry and walked out to the patio. There was Luna, completely calm, crouched under the patio chair, tail flicking with that specific slow rhythm that means she is extremely pleased with herself. And there, resting against the base of my brick planter in two not quite equal pieces, was the drone. One arm snapped clean off, camera dangling loose, propeller cracked, a small scatter of plastic fragments on the pavers around it. I looked at Luna. Luna looked at me. You magnificent creature. Apparently, he had done one low pass too many. He had flown it directly into the patio, not near the fence, not above the fence, into my enclosed patio. And Luna had launched off the bistro table, snatched it clean out of the air like she was born to do exactly this, and sent it directly into the brick planter at roughly terminal velocity. 7 pounds of tabby cat versus a professional-grade racing drone. The drone lost. If you've ever had a neighbor who made you feel powerless in your own home, someone who smiled while crossing every line, then you are going to love what Luna did. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and settle in. Because this one feels like the universe finally paid attention. Here's what I keep coming back to. I never wanted a conflict. I wanted a neighbor who could listen. All of this, every bit of it, could have been avoided if he had simply heard me the first time I walked over and said, "Hey, this is bothering my cat. Please stop." He made a choice to keep flying. He made a choice to dismiss me. He made a choice to believe that the rules of common decency didn't apply to him because, technically, the air was public. Luna just made a different choice. And sometimes, that's exactly how karma works. Not loud, not dramatic. It just drops out of the sky one afternoon and lands in a brick planter in 2 pieces. If this story gave you that deep, warm, deeply satisfying feeling, you know the one. Smash that like button and drop a comment below. I want to know, what's the most satisfying moment of natural justice you've ever witnessed? The moment someone finally got exactly what was coming to them. Subscribe so you never miss a story like this one. New episodes every week. And remember, sometimes you don't have to do anything at all. Sometimes you just have to own a cat named Luna.